and welcome to Skin Therapy's YouTube channel. My name's Joanne Thompson and I'm the owner of Skin Therapy here on Skettrick Island. And I'm a skincare specialist and I have been in the industry for over 20 years. Today what I'm going to discuss with you is what stress does on the skin. Now if you follow my YouTube channel, it is always very raw and all the mistakes will not be edited out, so you will just get to see me as I am. So I have some notes here, so I will be looking down at them and making sure that I cover everything that I want to discuss with you today, and I'd like to thank you all for watching. So stress, what is stress? Stress I think is something very different for every single person, or even what triggers our stress response within the body is very, very different for each and every person. And it's what I'm going to discuss today is not taking away from anybody's what they feel, because it's very important that you know what triggers you to go into that flight or fight response. So stress is something that happens. If we look it up in the dictionary, it basically says it's something that is an emotion that we feel whenever we feel under pressure, overwhelmed or threatened, and that is what triggers stress responses within our body. So physical signs of stress, it can be headaches, upset tummies, so your digestive system not working right, a bit like irritable bowel can be because of stress, muscle pain, tension, high blood pressure, and things then that can also, they trigger different emotions that we have. So they make us quite lethargic, not really motivated to do things, not really wanting to get up and go. Also anxiety, moodiness, irritability, can't say that word, sadness and depression is all things that whenever we experience stress is that some of the effects, whether it's internally or externally, that we have. So stress can then lead to us doing specific things. So say for example, some people will overeat when they're stressed, or the total opposite, they will not eat and they will not feel, they will have that knot in their stomach and not feel like they can eat. It can also trigger panic attacks. People can turn to drink and drugs. People start smoking when they're stressed. People can become very withdrawn from their friends, their family, their colleagues, and become very inward within themselves. And that then generally leads on to depression as well. So there's two types of chemicals that are released whenever stress is triggered within the body, and that is the adrenaline and the cortisol hormones. So adrenaline is our fight or flight response. So that gives us that instant stimulation. So increases heart rate, increases our breathing, can increase our temperature even and just make us perspire. It also dilates pupils, so people just become very sort of starstruck nearly, would be my best explanation of that. And also then dizziness, shaking, nauseous, all of those things can be triggered. So when we are overexposed to adrenaline, so it's fine, it's healthy for us to have adrenaline, and it's sometimes it happens and it goes away very, very quickly. But if we are in that state where adrenaline is being released all the time, then that leads on to big problems. And just to sort of give you a few, gut health is one of the biggest issues, triggers a lot of digestion problems, cardiovascular disease, weight gain, headaches, sleep disorders, memory and concentration problems, anxiety and depression again. And the best way to treat that adrenaline and that stress that's triggering and releasing the adrenaline in your body is by knowing what triggers you. So what is causing the stress? And if you can recognize what's causing the stress, then we can look at how you treat it. Now, there's lots of things you can do to treat it. CBT is a really good therapy, and there's lots and lots of evidence out there to help support CBT, helping people manage their stress. Meditation, exercise, eating a healthy balanced diet, and having a good support system. Also then, if it is continuing, going and speaking to your GP and just getting some advice and some help there, some professional advice is always very recommended. So before we touch on the skin, I want to touch on cortisol very quickly. So cortisol is known in our body as the alarm system. It manages how the body uses carbohydrates, fats and proteins within the body, and it also helps keep inflammation down, our blood pressure regular, increases our blood sugars, and controls our sleep, boosts our energy, and restores balance within our body. So cortisol is a very, very important hormone that is released to control so many different things. When your body is in the state of stress, the cortisol can shut down and then it doesn't regulate. Or again, similar to adrenaline, it can overproduce. So what happens in the skin? So that's the main thing, and that's what we're here to talk about today. So whenever these hormones are released within the skin and it triggers all of those reactions within our body, our skin suffers. So cortisol is one of the biggest ones. It will break down your collagen and elastin, so we get more lines, more wrinkles, the sagginess of the skin. You'll see, and I'm sure everybody has known somebody, or even the best examples are always the presidents of the United States. So when you look at them when they first come on and you look at them 4 years later, they have aged so much. And that is that constant stress, that constant pressure on them, which is doing that, which is breaking down all of those vital things and not letting those vital nutrients that we are absorbing within the body work properly. So other things then that happen is you can get an influx of inflammation. So that can lead to sort of acne. It can also lead to psoriasis and eczema. Rosacea is a big one as well that it leads to, and that's all generated by that inflammation not being controlled, not under a sort of good way of which the cortisol is maintaining it and looking after it. So other things then is cortisol increases the sebaceous gland activity. Now, a sebaceous gland lives within our skin, and it is what produces the sebum on our skin. Now, a lot of the times whenever that happens, if it overproduces, that's where you get your spots, your congestion, your acne, and that can be a huge issue with stress, and it does tend to trigger acne massively. So whenever I do a consultation with my clients, I will always ask them to rate their stress levels, and generally it'll be between 1 and 10, and depending on where that is, that can be a big cause of the problem. So then we start to look at the holistic approach to it, how we can treat your mind, rebalance that body, and stop that stress triggers being released to help reduce that down. So it's really important that you do have a look at all of those things and find out what is actually causing these triggers. Personally, I have found when I eat good whole foods, not processed foods, not high sugar foods, that definitely keeps me on a more even keel. Now that leads me into the next topic I'm going to come on and talk about, which is about gut health. but that helps with the stress, it helps manage, and I'm not so up and down because my blood sugar levels aren't spiking and lowering, and then that changes my emotions a lot. Also drinking lots of water. And one other thing that I do have done in the past is cold water swimming. Also having a cold shower gives you an amazing effect to reduce those stress levels within your body. So if stress is something that is affecting you, please do get in touch with me. We do a full range of treatments, and my main focus whenever you come in is to treat you inside, outside, and all around. So it's what your skin's living in, what your skin ingests, what you breathe in, what your mind is going through, as well as then the topical side of it. So I always find it's very important to treat within as well as without outside. So looking at your we offer reflexology and things like that, so those types of treatments can also really help. And you can reach out to me, and I do online consultations if you're not local, and then you could go to your nearest salon and maybe receive some of these treatments that I would be recommending for you. And we also can deliver out we do a full range of nutrition programs as well as topically applied skincare. But thank you all so much for listening, and I hope this has been of benefit to you. And please do subscribe to the channel. I'm going to try to do a lot more on YouTube. It'll be everything from little topics like this right through to how to do specific things on your skin, even makeup tutorials and things as well, how to use your microneedling rollers, lots of different hints and tips of how to do different things. But we are going to talk on a regular basis about different things that affect the skin and how to help them. So please do reach out, please subscribe to the channel, put any comments in the box and I'll get back to you. And you can find me at www.skintherapy.co.uk. Thank you.